This special video series is about the 9 upthinks that are detailed in my book, UP.THINKING by Peter Leeds, available only through the website peterleeds.com. These are the 9 upthinks I use in my day-to-day life to achieve wild success, to be more efficient, to understand what really matters in life. So I'm going to go through the 9 upthinks. Hopefully this will benefit you guys a lot. Nothing in this video is intended as personalized trading advice for you. All of these thoughts apply to the stock market, but they also apply to your personal life, your relationships, your career path. All of this is all about one thing: you getting better at what you're going to do. You got to decide what you're going to do, and you got to do it more efficiently. You'd be amazed. You're going to surprise yourself how effective this is. Look at me. I'm just some donkey from Canada. Understanding uncertainty. Uncertainty is an invisible thing like stress or guilt. Be aware of your mind and the minds of others. Opportunities will appear the more you understand them and yourself. So with stocks, uncertainty is worse than actual bad news. If they say, we lost a very significant amount of money, that's worse for investors, for expectations of investors, than if they come out and said, we lost $5 million. When you get the actual number, it's different because your mind always assumes the worst. Or think of it this way: a relationship, husband may have cheated on the wife. That uncertainty can be worse than the actual realization. Because when you have the realization, you can make moves and deal with it. When you have uncertainty, you can't do anything about it. Uncertainty cannot be dealt with. I'll give you a quick example just from among the dozens and dozens of them. Say, for example, you're going to buy a brand new house, and it hasn't been decided yet if the new freeway is going to go right by the front door or not. There's still uncertainty. So the house value may be worth a lot and may be worth a little. As the buyer, you can use that to your advantage. Make sure that the counterparty is understanding and aware of the uncertainty, understanding how significant the uncertainty could be, how much it could affect the value of the house, and that will loosen them up a lot to sell you their house at a much lower price. That's just one example, but you can use the understanding of uncertainty all around you in the stock market and your day-to-day life, and it can really help you get a lot of great values and also understand when you're giving away something at less than it's actually worth or less than the amount you could have gotten from the counterparty. Work smart, not hard. The correlation between hard work and great results is mainly a myth. You can achieve vastly superior results by being purposeful with your actions and more considered in your approach. Everybody always tells you that hard work pays off. And all other things being equal, of course it does. But the misassumption that hard work and success are linked does not apply to reality. It's a myth. There's a lot of people who are working really hard, spinning their wheels, working their fingers down to the bone, that have very little benefit to show for it. There's also at the same time a bunch of people who are not working that hard, they're not even that intelligent, and they're getting paid obscene amounts of money to do that. Working smart is about knowing the end point now. Where do you want to end up? Where do you want to be working? Where do you want to be living? Where's the end point? And then everything is just about getting to that end point. This is a point that most people do not do. Sit down and think about what you want to achieve. Do you want to achieve anything? And if you don't, no hard feelings. If you do, then this video is for you. If you want to achieve something, you need to know what it is exactly. You want to run a marathon, then that affects what you eat, how you train, what time of day you get up. All the things just fall into place. You just decide what's the end point, and then everything falls into place. That's working smart. You have to be more considered in your actions, considered in your approach. If you decide that you want to get a promotion, some of you, it might behoove you to get along with the boss better, show up earlier for work, stay later, get all your projects done, hit all the metrics you're supposed to, if that's what you want to do. And then you know what you should be doing on a day-to-day basis, and it's not wasting your time anymore. When people don't know what to do, idle hands are the devil's workshop. When people are not sure what they're supposed to be doing, they're basically just entertaining themselves in small amounts of instant gratification. And again, I'll say there's nothing wrong with any of this. So while you're doing that hard life, why not have it take you somewhere that you're more proud of? And I'm telling you, you're going to surprise yourself what you're capable of if you have the right kind of mindset. It's all about the mindset, 100%. 100%, it's all about the mindset. Getting out of the weeds. Inane details are incrementally wasting your potential. Through awareness, you will notice how much of your time is being wasted by others and for their own needs. This is about efficiency. It's about cutting out the fat. You'll go, for example, to your office building to work. Not that people do that anymore nowadays, but say, for example, that you did, in fact, go to a typical office setting. You're going to have coworkers, some of them in specific that you cringe when they come over. They're going to talk your ear off about some story they're going to plow through, which has no effect or meaning for you. Their daughter's dance recital was important to them, and so they're going to actualize that by expressing it out loud to you. They'll feel closer to you. They also feel better about getting that story out there so that it becomes real to more people. But be careful of all the people, not necessarily co-workers, family members, everybody, who will just talk your ear off. And if you have a directed idea of what you want to do, where you want to end up, and then you cut out all the time you waste listening to Sally's stories about her daughter's dance recital, you'll save hours a week. I'm not kidding. People will talk and talk and talk. Some people are worse than others, but when you add it all up, even the ones that aren't so bad, and you look at how much time you're wasting, pay attention to it. This is my challenge for you. Next few days, next 3 days at work, wherever you work, pay attention to how much time you wasted with someone else talking to you, telling a story that they needed to put onto your brain. Buying capitulation. Sometimes masses of people strongly do not want or no longer want something. Trust and know that their feeling is temporary. They do not realize it yet, but once you do, you will out-invest, out-negotiate, and outgain every single one of them. I frequently tell you that the best time to buy anything is at a capitulation point. When all of a sudden, nobody wants anything to do with that thing, that stock anymore, that new fad, fingerless gloves, jackets with 17 zippers, Baby Yoda, Shopkins. And I'm going to give you an example from the stock market because it works best in this scenario. But remember, everything we say here has to do with your personal life as well, in every aspect of it. Well, you've heard the expression, blood on the streets. That's always a good time to invest. Unfortunate in terms of the analogy or the imagery, but it's the best time to invest in anything when no one wants anything to do with it. And I warn in Upthinking, in the book, that you got to be careful that if something's on the way to zero, it's going to look like it's capitulating. And there's ways you can keep an eye on it and things you can look at, such as the trading volume and a few other things I mentioned in the book, how to know something's actually truly capitulating or if it's just on the way to zero. But if you get invested in something at a capitulation point or close to it, typically that results in significant gains, bigger gains than any other aspect of investing, any other strategy of investing. I talk in the book about when oil capitulated. It was trading at negative amounts for oil's futures contracts. That would have been a great time to buy as much oil as you could have, to back up the truck, to load up with every penny you had. And it would have worked out pretty blazingly well, too. The issue with crowded paths. When everyone is standing in the same place, you really haven't gotten anywhere. If you want to make a meaningful difference in your life, you will want to go your own way. This is one of the 9 upthinks that is after my own heart. I do not like being in the crowd. And unfortunately people, not unfortunately I guess, but it's a truth, people think that we're all more unique and important than we all individually are. And that's great, dude. That's what I do too. Every human being does that. But when everyone is going to one place, they all have a lot of the same ideas. An analogy that'll help explain this. For example, you want to advertise your online business. So what do? You go to Google Ads. So does everybody else. That's why it's so hard to get a good return on investment from your Google Ads. There's too many people all piling in and doing the same thing, so you're competing with all of them. The blank page revolution. All things can be way better than they are right now. People naturally want to fix the old rather than build the new. That is exactly the reason that most of our significant issues in society are no better than they were 5 years ago, or 50. You go from blank page, anything can go. Put it down. You want to reorganize your kitchen. You want to figure out a complicated project at work. Think of it this way. If you've got something that's been bothering you and you're having to deal with it, you don't know what to do, and you've tried other things, sit down, clear your mind, put a blank piece of paper, pretend that you know nothing about the situation, and write down on that piece of paper how you would fix it. What happens is that the actions you take become right actions. They're all leading you towards that endpoint that you decided upon. Perhaps you run a restaurant. Write down what you want that restaurant to represent, what kinds of gains you want to get from running it, how much time you want to put into the restaurant. Put that down on paper. Create a new restaurant. Don't improve the current restaurant. Make a brand new one and then step into that once it's ready. The blank page revolution is fun. It'll get your creativity going. It'll be so much more fun and easy than you realize once you get started. The hard part's taking that first step, but it's just kind of like cleaning up the garage. You finally start getting to it, and then you get into it, and you're listening to music, and you're cleaning the garage, and you can't stop yourself. Same thing. Any problem you got, figure it out on a single piece of paper from scratch. And if you're anything like me, you're going to become addicted to this stuff. Mirror thinking. Clarify where you want to end up. Learn from people who have already gotten there. Everyone will give you direction and opinions. Who you mimic will make all the difference. Especially in today's internet digital age, this is more important than ever. This upthink is called mirror thinking, and it's about listening to people who have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. And it sounds pedantic, I know, but you'd be amazed, because what happens is that people you care about, people you love, you think they're funny, you think they're smart, and they all have opinions and guidance for you, even if what they're talking about has nothing to do with what you're trying to get to or how to get there. Emulate someone who's gotten to where you want to get to. Study them, copy them, but don't listen to anybody if they're not already doing what you're trying to achieve in your own life. Taking right actions. Have you ever wasted significant time and effort on a task which didn't provide any positive results? That was a rhetorical question. Well, stop that. Instead, walk a more rewarding path. The gains you'll get as you build your vision might be extreme. Let's find out. This is an extension of the other upthink earlier we're talking about work smart, not hard. This is about taking right action. The only way you can take right action is you need to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. So if you know where you're going, all the answers of what you got to do to get there, like dominoes, falls in line. Every action you take should bring you closer to that endpoint that you identified and delineated on a piece of paper. Choosing the rocky path. Life is hard whether you use it to become stronger or not. Each difficult step is building your lungs, strengthening your legs, and increasing your power. Why not become the next superior iteration of you? The first truth of Buddhism is that life is hard. It's going to be hard no matter what, so you might as well benefit from the hardships of it. If you're walking up a really steep hill, your legs are getting stronger. You're getting some fresh air, you're getting some exercise. It wasn't easy, but you did it anyway. I myself was terrified of doing any kind of media interviews, terrified. And that was a hard path I walked. I had to learn how to do better on media, how to be calmer about it the night before. And in so doing, there's all sorts of benefits that come from that. Anything that's difficult but you do it anyway, it's kind of like the definition of courage is when you're afraid and you do it anyway. If there's something hard to do, if it's hard to learn Spanish, but you learn Spanish, it'll benefit you. If you have to learn new programming language, look at my company. We learned the Final Cut Pro program. We're doing post-editing, video production. We're doing stuff in our videos that nobody else is able to. They don't understand this stuff. Whereas instead of holding up a piece of paper to the camera like some people do, a hand-drawn chart, we can show you a chart and point to exactly what we're talking about so that you learn the most from the video you're watching. We respect your time. You're investing. You're going to get something out of that time. Don't be worried about difficulties, because a lot of times those difficulties are making you into a stronger version of you. With all this stuff, try to have a better attitude towards it. It's a choice. You can say, I am going to have a better attitude about that topic or that topic. And see how that works out. It won't be worse. So these are the 9 upthinks, all available and described in my book, Upthinking, Simply Get More. So that's what the 9 upthinks are described, and they're trying to show you the best ways to simply get more. More of what? More of whatever you want.